Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the SOURCEBIO International PLC General Meeting. Throughout this recorded meeting, attendees will be in listen-only mode. Questions are encouraged. They can be submitted at any time just using the Q&A tab on the right-hand corner of your screen. Just simply type in your question at any time and press send. The company may not be in a position to answer every question it receives during the meeting itself. However, the company can review all questions submitted today and publish additional responses where it's appropriate to do so. I'd now like to hand over to Chairman Jay LeGue. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you, Mark. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Jay LeGue, Executive Chairman of SOURCEBIO, and I would like to welcome you to this general meeting of the company. It's now midday. A quorum of shareholders is present, and I declare the general meeting of the company open. As you know, today's meeting was called by a notice of general meeting dated 23rd November 2022. The notice contains details of the resolutions, which are all special resolutions, and this meeting has been called to consider and, if thought fit, pass those resolutions. I propose to deal with each resolution in turn. Equiniti, the company's registrars, have been appointed to act as scrutineers. Unless there are any questions to the board concerning matters referred to in the notice, then I propose that we proceed to the formal business of the meeting. After the formal business of the meeting is concluded, shareholders will have an opportunity to ask general questions about the company. I will now proceed to put the resolutions to the meeting. The actual terms of the resolution are set out in full in the notice. Unless any member has an objection, I propose to take the notice as read. If you do wish to ask a question, would you please state your name and the number of shares you hold or represent? Myself, together with other members of the board, will deal with any questions as appropriate. Now to the formal business of the meeting. The resolutions. The default position under the company's Articles of Association is for voting to take place on a show of hands. However, as chairman and pursuant to the company's Articles of Association and pursuant to the company's, and as stated in the notice, I instead requested voting take place on a poll. I also understand that the notice of the general meeting advised all shareholders to vote in advance of the general meeting or appoint the chairman of the meeting as their proxy to this meeting to ensure their vote is counted. As such, a poll has been demanded for each resolution in accordance with the company's Articles of Association. For each resolution below, every shareholder present has been entitled on a poll to one vote for each share held by him or her or his or her appointer. A person entitled to more than one vote need not cast all his votes in the same way. If you have completed and returned your proxy form, your votes will automatically be counted in the poll. The poll is now closed. I will appoint the company's registrar, Equiniti, as scrutineers to certify the result of the poll. On to Resolution 1. Resolution 1 is a special resolution to provide authority to make market purchases of the ordinary shares in connection with the tender offer. The scrutineers have now completed the counting of the votes, and the result of the poll is that 6,789,000 votes have been cast in favor of the resolution, and 215,356 votes have been cast against the resolution. This represents a 99.65% majority in favor of the resolution, and as a 75% majority is required for the resolution to be passed, I declare the resolution carried. Resolution 2 is a special resolution subject to and conditional on the passing of Resolution 1 above, and on completion of the purchase by the company of the ordinary shares pursuant to the tender offer, to approve the cancellation of the admission of the ordinary shares to trading on AIM. The scrutineers have now completed the counting of the votes, and the result of the poll is that 6,474,427 votes have been cast in favor of the resolution, and 539,329 votes have been cast against the resolution. This represents a 99.14% majority in favor of the resolution, and as a 75% majority is required for the resolution to be passed, I declare the resolution carried. Resolution 3 is a special resolution subject to and conditional on the passing of Resolutions 1 and 2 above, and on the cancellation of the admission of the ordinary shares to trading on AIM becoming effective. To approve pursuant to the provisions of Section 97 of the Companies Act 2006, the company is being re-registered as a private limited company with the name of SOURCEBIO International Limited. The scrutineers have now completed the counting of the votes, and as a result of the poll, is that 6,474,374 votes have been cast in favor of the resolution, and 495,908 votes have been cast against the resolution. This represents a 99.2% majority in favor of the resolution. As a 75% majority is required for the resolution to be passed, I declare the resolution carried. Resolution 4 is a special resolution subject to and conditional on the passing of resolutions 1 to 3 above, and of the cancellation of the admission of the ordinary shares to trading on AIM becoming effective. The draft articles of association produced to the general meeting and signed by me as the chairman of the general meeting for the purposes of identification be adopted by the company in substitution for and to the exclusion of its existing articles of association. The scrutineers have now completed the counting of the vote, and the result of the poll is that 6,474,395 votes have been cast in favor of the resolution, and 493,687 votes have been cast against the resolution. This represents a 99.2% majority in favor of the resolution, and as a 75% majority is required for the resolution to be passed, I declare the resolution carried. That conducts our formal agenda today, so I bring the general meeting to a close. I can also report that having passed the tender offer record date and following the passing of the resolutions above, a total of 5,981,364 ordinary shares have been tendered. All of these shares will now be purchased by the company with no scale back at an agreed price of 1.15 pounds per share at a total cost of £6,878,569. This represents just over half of the 11,071,810 ordinary shares that the company was prepared to buy back, and we are delighted that so many shareholders have decided to stay with the business for the next part of our journey. Myself and my fellow directors will remain here for a little longer to take any questions from shareholders. And I think we've got one question about guaranteed 115 buyback price. I think the answer to that is yes. And then Tony, do you want to just discuss this spread betting question?
Yes, happy to. Yeah, thank you, Jay. Yeah, so the first part of the question was about would private retail shareholders be guaranteed the 115 price? Just to be very clear, as Jay mentioned, the tender offer is actually closed as of last week. He read out the numbers, just under 6 million shares, and yes, everybody has got that very same 115 buy price. So if you're in there by the deadline, that's the price. Obviously, if you did not tender or missed the deadline, then that's different. I'm not sure I can answer the question. So the next part of the question is what happens to shares bought through spread betting? I mean, I don't actually know the nature of the transaction or the platform, but I suggest if that is the case that you go back to your platform and take it from there. I mean, obviously, based on the resolutions being passed, we're looking for the last, dealing to be on the 30th of this month. So at that point, we'd be delisted.
All right, thanks, Tony. Well, that's all we've got. So I will declare the meeting closed and hand it back over to Mark.
Thank you very much indeed, Jay, and thank you, Tony, as well. Please could I ask investors not to close this session, as we'll now automatically redirect you for the opportunity to Tony, I've just noticed a couple more questions. I wasn't quite sure whether or not they've appeared through on your screen just before I terminate. I don't know whether or not.
Actually, I can. They're not on the right panel, Mark. So where would they?
So if you just click on the right-hand side where it's got chat Q&A polls, Tony, can you see those? Maybe you
I can see them.
If you'd be host master, maybe.
I've got these. I got these. Okay. All right. So we did the spread. I've got one from Richard. How do the directors plan to return value to shareholders over the medium and long term? Well, I mean, that's fairly simple. We're going to grow the business. We're going to invest in the cellular pathology business. We're going to look to expand our digital presence. We're going to expand genomics. We're going to look to maximize the value of our storage business. So we're going to focus very hard on growing the business in a very profitable way. Is another one of our key goals. Are you able to discuss the likely plans for the company to grow the business? I think I just covered that, Martin. I can tell you that cellular pathology is doing very, very well. We are now the leading provider in the UK of cellular and digital pathology solutions, and we're going to continue to expand that opportunity as quickly as we can. Our biggest challenge now is maximizing our operational capacity, and we're focused very hard to do just that.
That's great. Thank you, Jay. Sorry, I just saw those questions coming very late.
No, I appreciate it, Mark.
But thank you very much indeed to you and to the board for your time this afternoon. Can I please ask investors on the call not to close this session, as we'll now automatically redirect you for the opportunity to give your thoughts and feedback to the company. On behalf of the management team of SOURCEBIO International PLC, we'd like to thank you for attending today's meeting. I wish you all a very pleasant afternoon.